Who has the best NIL program in college basketball? The answer might surprise you. We work with hundreds of schools across the country at Open Doors, and there's one program that's doing things that most of them aren't. They've got a brand manager assigned to every player on the team. They promote NIL in every social media post, and they're landing deals that are making a difference off the court and on the court. On the court, they've been to back-to-back NCAA tournaments. They've won their conference 2 years in a row. So you're thinking this is a blue blood top-level program, right? Well, I told you the answer might surprise you. It's the Howard University men's basketball team, the Bison. Coach Blakeney has made a major investment in NIL, and I want to break down the things that they're doing that sets them apart from the competition at all levels of college basketball. So if you work in college sports, I want you to take some notes. If you're a fan, I want you to understand really what goes into building a world-class NIL program on campus. First things first, Howard's men's basketball has a staff member dedicated to NIL. Daniel Marks was hired as the chief program strategist in 2022, and his role on the team is to make sure that they understand NIL, that they understand the transfer portal, that they're scouting players, and he's got a player relations role, and that makes sense because he spent nearly a decade in the NBA with the Milwaukee Bucks. He's part of the 2021 NBA championship season. Another unique thing about Daniel Marks is he's entrepreneurial. He's got a group called Scouting and Scavenging that helps sports professionals when they travel around the country to get unused shampoo and soap from the hotel and donate them to underprivileged communities. It's a great group, and Daniel Marks, again, he's entrepreneurial, and that's a great combination. You got to understand the game, you got to understand NIL, and you got to be entrepreneurial to navigate these things, and that's unique to Howard's men's basketball. So Daniel's behind the scenes making things happen. I want to break down different things that Daniel's implemented and what they're doing throughout the program. Daniel made sure there's an NIL and branding expert assigned to every player on the team, and that is Ashley Foston. Ashley Foston sits down with players and creates a deck for each one of them that walks through their core values, their interests, their background, their different media appearances. She also helps them build out their Open Doors and LinkedIn profile so they're prepared for the moment when a brand wants to offer them a deal or a business wants to offer them an internship. So Ashley is a big component, and these decks that they create are really unique. This is something that every player on every program in the country should have a breakdown, really a media kit that helps brands and businesses understand who they are off the court and why they would be a great fit for an NIL deal or partnership. This is something that stands out at Howard. One of my favorite things that Howard men's basketball does for NIL is promote the Open Doors profile of every player on the team on social media after every game. So if you look at their social media feed, go to Twitter, and you'll see that when they mention birthdays of their players, they're linking to their Open Doors profile. And they're talking about off-season throwbacks, they're linking to their Open Doors profile. They have a player of the game, they're linking to the Open Doors profile. All of these things are meant to get fans in the community to understand here's where you go to support our student athletes. And that's what Open Doors is built to do. It's built to be a place that fans can go and learn more about an athlete, and with one click, send them an NIL deal. And this has turned into real opportunities for athletes at Howard's men's basketball. Recently, our partners at Invesco teamed up with Shai Odom to promote Invesco QQQ, and there's a great breakdown in this video you can see here. There's some other NIL deals that have happened with Howard's men's basketball players over the years, but one of my favorite ones is what they've done in the world of LASIK. Howard University alum Bruce Rivers is world-renowned LASIK surgeon, and 4 members of the Howard's men's basketball team got free LASIK surgery in exchange for sharing their experience on social media. So you can see a breakdown here of Zay Warfield going and getting free LASIK. And why I love this deal is that it actually had an impact on the team. So InView, the LASIK surgery center, has a breakdown of the actual impact of what happens when you can see better. And take a look at these stats. Isaiah Warfield added 6 points to his average. He added 4.7 to his field goal percentage. He was shooting threes better, free throws better, making more assists. So if you can see better, maybe you can play better. And that's a great example of an NIL deal that stands out. Howard's men's basketball is doing things right. Now, how are they doing this with such a small budget? It's really important for everyone to understand that there are a lot of teams out there at the highest level of college basketball that are spending $15, $18, $20 million a year. Howard's men's basketball is doing all of this in under $1 million a year type of budget. So this is a low major program that has emphasized NIL on campus, and that emphasis is leading to getting top talent to come to school there, to stay in school there, to be a part of a team that's gone to the tournament back-to-back seasons. So this is something that matters in college basketball. But for every fan out there, you think that your program has an NIL program manager or strategist. They probably don't, but Howard's men's basketball does. And I just want to share that as a highlight, because you don't need all the dollars in the world. You need the right people in the right roles. And you're going to have the right conversations that matter in today's recruiting landscape and retention landscape across across college basketball, across college sports. So just having a person to call on and say, this is who runs NIL, that matters. Whatever your budget is, find room in the budget for that. That person matters. It also matters to a partner like Open Doors. Open Doors knows that at Howard, we've got a responsive group of folks on campus that can help athletes do the right things for brands and get businesses involved and engaged with NIL. So this is something that helps everyone in the community. It helps the athletes, helps the coaches, helps the campus community, and it helps the partners that want to work with athletes. So having a dedicated person to NIL, I can't emphasize that enough. And Howard's men's basketball is doing it despite not having a $20 million a year type of budget. They're just efficient and they put the dollars where it matters most. The chief program strategist and Daniel Marks has really done some things to make them stand out. Another unique thing that Howard does for men's basketball is their Beyond the Ball series. This is where they have a behind the scenes look at the things that make their athletes unique. So if you take a look at the Bryce Harris episode, they talk about Bryce and his passion for music and why he's engaged in the music community and how he wants to do things with this after he's done playing ball. And what's cool about this is now Bryce and his music is actually used in highlights that Howard's men's basketball uses on social media. So they're leveraging their own channels to help hype up and build the brands of their athletes, giving them an outlet that they can use in their promotional materials to businesses and brands. And they're also giving them a platform to showcase their talents using the music of Bryce Harris in a highlight that totally makes sense. One more thing, I'd be silly if I didn't talk about this. What is unique about low major programs is they build their budget to compete with the big dogs by having these pay games, right? So you got to have an opportunity where they're getting paid $150,000 to $400,000 a game to travel to a blue blood program and play those games, and those dollars add up. That's really how they fund a lot of their programs, but it also leads to some losses on the win-loss record for the coaches. So these coaches are getting judged sometimes on going into the conference. They've got a lot of losses, but they had to play those away games of big blue blood programs so they could actually fund their entire program, and then they go to the conference season. So if you're out there judging the low major programs and their coaches and their coaching history and record, go to the conference record. And you're going to see the standout players, and you're going to see that Coach Blakeney and Howard, they've been standout competitors in the HBCU level, MEAC level, and that's what's led them to back-to-back conference tournament champions, the regular season champions in 23, and back-to-back NCAA tournament appearances. So I told you I'd surprise you with who I think is one of the best programs in the country as it relates to NIL and college basketball, and that's Howard University. Shout out to Coach Blakeney, Daniel Marks, Ashley, the whole crew, and their belief in Open Doors and this partnership has been fun to see, and hopefully learn a thing or two about what they're doing at Howard U.